Hello. Okay, everybody's back. Yeah, okay. I don't have to talk much about this. This has been a staple for WeAreDevelopers for a few years. We got John Romero, award-winning game creator, father of FPS, Doom, Quake, and Wolfenstein. And he's going to talk to us about 30 years of rip and tear, how the development story behind how Doom came around, the month-by-month trials. We see some alpha and beta footage, and we discuss the challenges. And I love that Doom has become this like test platform for anything. Like you can release a new mobile phone, and you're like, yeah, but does it run Doom? That's the most important thing. And it's understandable, you know, like smooth 3D environments, like really fast FPS, punching Nazis. You know, if it works for Indiana Jones, it should work for computer games as well. So without further ado, John Romero, please, up on stage with you.
Hello, everybody. Are you having fun yet? I think you might know this music a little bit, huh? Some of you. So I'm John Romero, and I'm looking back at 30 years of ripping and tearing, otherwise known as Doom. And I'm going to talk about Doom's development in 1993, month by month. All right, so the story of Doom has its roots in December of 1991. Id Software was based in Madison, Wisconsin for 6 months. And during this December, John Carmack discovered the next computer by Steve Jobs, his post-Apple company, and he really wanted one. So John had saved up a bunch of money, so he just ordered it. And since it was Christmas vacation, The other three of us that did software decided to go somewhere else for 2 weeks, basically out of the cold, somewhere warm, and John stayed behind so he could get his computer. So the computer was ordered cash on delivery, so John Carmack, who did not have a car, basically had to walk through the snow to the bank to get a cashier's check for $11,000 to buy this computer. It was cold. So the computer arrived, and it was awesome. John learned how to program it over the holiday break. Objective-C and Next Step were a dream compared to DOS PCs. At this time, we used to play a lot of Dungeons & Dragons, and we decided to explore making 3D games, and we spent 2 months creating Catacomb 3D, and we shipped it in November of 1991. It used texture mapping, which was a hot new technology that hadn't been seen in a game yet. This was 6 months before Ultima Underworld was released, and it had texture mapping. So we decided to make an updated 3D version of the 1981 classic Apple II game, Castle Wolfenstein. We called it Wolfenstein 3D, and it took us 4 months to create and ship the shareware episode, and 2 more months to add 5 more episodes and a hint book. So we recreated this hint book on the next computer. A month after releasing Wolfenstein, we were contacted by a Japanese Nintendo game publisher called Imagineer. They wanted Wolfenstein on the Super Nintendo. Since we were about to start developing a prequel to Wolfenstein called Spear of Destiny, we hired a contractor to start working on the Super Nintendo version. All right, it's November of 1992. It's still before we start working on the next game. We shipped Spear of Destiny, and we decided we're going to make another first-person shooter. Although, at this early date, the term FPS doesn't even exist. We don't know what to call our games other than 3D. So we decided to call this new game Doom. At this point, it's just a word, no logo exists, or even an idea of what that would look like. So Doom would be our 5th FPS. The first shooter that we made, it's called Hover Tank 1, was a solid-filled polygon maze. Catacomb 3D was our first texture map 3D game, and Wolfenstein 3D was our first VGA shooter. Doom, however, would be a huge jump in technology and in design. We moved our company from the one-bedroom loft apartment to the Black Cube in Mesquite, Texas. We were on the 6th floor, Suite 666. Just perfect. Tom was working away on the Doom Bible, the early design doc for Doom. He came up with several characters and names, and they had backgrounds, and there was a lot of other stuff in this Doom Bible, and he completed it at the end of November 1992. This is a page from the Doom Bible that describes a preview of what the game will have in it. Some of these features weren't in the final game, like cinematics, and we then took our Christmas vacation, and we were excited to start making this new game. All right, so now it's January 1993. Unbelievably, we issued a press release just as we were starting to work on Doom. We basically said that Doom was going to herald another technical revolution in PC programming. This is a list of the features we expected that the game would have, the most important being the last line, an open game. I was working on DoomEd, the level editor, and things were really starting to begin now. So we started getting the engine tech working and the level editor DoomEd up on the screen. Tom Hall, pictured here, was playing with it, and he's offering lots of suggestions on how to make it better. Tom was testing the new engine as well, and he's trying to figure out what the levels could look like. And creatively, it was difficult. So now, it's February of 1993. This is Adrian modeling the Baron of Hell from the sketch that he made. Kevin, at the same time, was creating the Imp in Deluxe Paint 2 on the PC. When Clay ended up being a really bad idea for monster animation, we turned to a Hollywood monster creator, and he made a few models for us. Gregor Punchatz, the son of Don Punchatz, was a Hollywood monster model maker. The Spider Mastermind was the only Doom model that he made. It was made with latex and metal, and we needed him for the end boss of Episode 3. We decided that since we were scanning most of our models, why wouldn't we be scanning our weapons as well? Even though we lived in Texas, we decided to get toy guns from Toys R Us. A part of the design of the game was influenced by the movie Evil Dead, so we decided to put a chainsaw and a shotgun in the game too. This is the chainsaw that Tom Hall brought in to the office. His girlfriend had one, so we just borrowed it. Its product name was Eager Beaver, and we kept it in a bowl because it leaked oil. Tom still has this chainsaw today. The shotgun was called the Tootsie Toy Dakota Cap Gun. Really incredible name there. We got it at the Toys R Us store close by as well. So at the same time, we're trying to figure out what the levels would look like. Because for our entire lives, the only kind of 3D game levels that we had seen were the 90-degree block walls of Wolfenstein 3D. You see this coming up? Might and Magic, Ultima, Wizardry, MIDI Maze, Labyrinth, The Way Out. Basically, you name the maze game, and the maze was always 90-degree walls. There were no examples of any other kind of world. So we had to come up with a new way of creating levels that didn't look like Wolfenstein 3D. John Carmack told Tom, as an idea, hey, go get books about military building construction. Tom did that, and he got really bored with it because they're not inspiring places to play. Tom was kind of feeling a little burned out. The first level in Doom was called The Hangar, and originally it started like this, with 4 Marines playing cards on a UAC crate. There we are. The first level in Doom was, you can hear the music. This level was originally called Hangar, but we basically modified it and shipped it as E2M7 later. Okay, so now, this is what Doom looked like on February 4th of 1993. This is after 1 month of working on the game. Basically, it's a tech demo of the engine. The original subtitle was Evil Unleashed. So you can see that we're moving through a maze. You're hitting walls, so we have collision. We have animating sprites that are rotating as you go around them. We have a huge HUD that eats up a lot of space on the screen. The music was not in at this point, though. But you can see that we have a basic engine going even within a month of working on the game. But we didn't have levels going yet that were cool. All right, so there's that. All right, now it's March. It's the 3rd month of actual game development, and something kind of random happened one day. 20th Century Fox offered us the use of the Aliens license from the movie Aliens. We seriously thought about theming the game around this license because it totally matched a lot of the ideas that we had about how we wanted the game to play. But then there weren't any demons in Aliens, just alien monsters, and that wouldn't be a new idea. So we kind of scrapped the concept of using the license after we talked it over for 30 minutes. It was a quick decision. But then, out of nowhere, disaster struck, and all work on Doom stopped. Yeah, Imagineer called. They wanted to know, hey, where's our Super Nintendo version? The contract programmer that we hired had done little work on it, and Imagineer were not pleased. So we had to do the Super Nintendo port ourselves instead of working on Doom. We had to learn the hardware of the Super Nintendo. We had to get all the data converted over to the formats and audio and everything, and we had to get it done. We got it done in 3 weeks. Things were done much faster back then. And then work on Doom resumed, finally. It was a tough 3 weeks. All right, by the end of the month, Don Punchatz, who was this freelance illustrator, was really well known, He finished creating the Doom logo, and he began working on the Doom box cover. All right, now it's April 1993. While creating the map E1M2, I created a problem for Carmack's renderer. These stairs slowed the rendering code way down. John had to find a solution, so he started to read about any possible way that he could fix this problem. You can see that the stairs are recursively they're stairs that are round. They're not just going up in a hallway. He was using a sector list, and it was basically going back into itself multiple times. So he found a white paper from Bruce Naylor about this data structure that's called a binary space partition. And it was originally designed for backface culling of 3D models. John adapted it for 3D levels to speed up rendering. And this really solved the problem with E1M2, or the culling. So we also created our first alpha version of the game that we could send to our testers. We had a few people that we'd been testing with for a couple of years. We're pretty happy to show these people what we were up to. So this is what the alpha version looked like after only 3 months of development. It's a 2.6 megabyte data file. Okay, we finally have a cool alpha. Now we're going to see better looking levels than that first one. We actually could choose 9 levels that we were kind of beginning at the same time that we could just run into. And if this gets out, you can just forget getting a Doom autographed hint book. You can see that there are rolly chairs that we took out. There's old-looking ammo and old-looking feedback for firing the gun. Other characters there that could have been AI controlled. The doors are opening there vertically, and you can see there's more interesting shapes in here. But still, the environment had a lot of the same kind of height. You know, like there wasn't a lot of variation in it. So these levels were, at that point, to us, not that interesting to run around in. We were also limited in our textures. All right, there's a lot of offices here. So yeah, you can see it's a little boring. Okay, so now we move into May 1993. I finally finished working on DoomEd, and now I'm ready to start making levels for the game with Tom. Now, since the military bunker style just wasn't cutting it, something really needed to be done. One day I decided to just solve this problem, and that's when I created Doom's abstract 3D level design style. I used E1M2 for my experiment, and it may not look like much, the screen here, but this was the first room I made in this abstract design style. And the final version of this room looks way better, but this was just the start. And Tom and the artist, they came into my office, and I showed them, and we all agreed this is the direction that we needed to move in. It was back then in the design space that we were in, this was actually a really major change. So here's a pre-beta version of Doom after almost 5 months of work on the game. You can see we had lots of different versions that we saved out. Okay, pre-beta. We just didn't put that on. We just left the title screen the same, but it's a pre-beta. All right, now you can see that we have a menu system. We have a different HUD on the bottom, so we got rid of the big, huge, taking up the whole screen HUD. You can collide against the enemies now. You can hit them. You can see this display option menu is not in the game that you know of, but we were just experimenting with this menu system here. But at least we had a font. We created a font for it. We got these menus going. And you can see that now we have levels that are kind of spooky. They're dark. They're more interesting to play in. We have our first key cards. That's what they look like the first time we put them in. Not interesting looking, but at least they were there. And then we can open these doors, and no death frames for enemies. But you can see the game design is moving along. The development of the game is doing all right. We We still need a lot of work on making these spaces more interesting and get rid of all the cement on the walls. But yeah, you can see like the darkness is really helping the ambience of the game, and it's feeling a little bit better. All right, so now, we're halfway through the year. Chris Lombardi from Computer Gaming World comes to Texas to get a sneak peek of the game, and he writes this really great preview article, and it's the only preview written about Doom in 1993. Also, we realized that we have too many biped monsters in the game. We really needed flying ones, and this was kind of an oversight by Tom, and he feels pretty bad about it, and he kind of feels like he's kind of drives him further away from the team. And now it's August of 1993. Tom basically decides to leave id and go to Apogee Software, where he goes and he makes Rise of the Triad. And then, after shipping that, Tom designed the game Prey, which you may have heard of. Okay, so we had to hire a couple new guys to replace Tom and help us finish Doom. So we hired Dave Taylor and Sandy Peterson. Dave is a really great programmer, and Sandy was kind of a legendary game designer at that time. All right, so now it's September of 1993. Dave gets to work coding on this automap feature, and Sandy is making level after level. He is really working hard on it. He took many of Tom Hall's levels, and he finished them and moved on to another level. And with all the tech that was being made during the year, sound drivers kind of took a back seat to the game engine. So the technical hurdle with sound drivers was that Doom was the first game that we had that was in 32-bit mode. We hadn't made a 32-bit mode game before, so we couldn't use our old drivers. But we found this sound library. They're called the DMX the DMX sound library. We got it, licensed it, and basically started connecting it to the game. And we could start doing all the audio. All right, now we're in October of 1993. We created what we call the press release version of Doom, and this is what it looked like. So you can see that this is a bigger jump in quality. This is E1M2, and now we have enemies that are moving around and shooting at the player. The player can shoot the enemies. There's animations. There's secret doors. Like this area here is actually a secret. There's switches to open up other stuff. You're still picking up these items, and down in the HUD, you're being told what you're picking up, and we decided to get rid of that. And we also decided, well, you'll see, how to get rid of some other things with the design. But we have lifts working. This level is pretty close to being done at this point in October. You can see outside finally, and see that we're on a space base on Phobos. All right, you're picking up the key card. We're looking outside. You can see that you can probably run around out there, and that door is open because of the switch in the secret area. So you can see that we have better textures on the walls. The alignment's not so great outside at this point because texture alignment was actually pretty tricky back then. But this was just getting the shape of the level and trying to get the lighting and trying to get the balance as well, trying to put the right things in the right places and make it interesting for the player to get through the level. So at that point, like, there was a red door, you couldn't get through it, you had to find the key card and then go, then you could find secrets as well. So the levels are getting far more developed, and this is just the second level in the game. We had 3 episodes full of 9 levels each, so we had to do 27 levels. All right, so you can see that it is much further along than before. We're getting pretty close. It's October. All right, so now we're going to go to. So we're getting close to wrapping the game up. So progress really started to go faster. And you saw that even in early October, we still had pickup items that were useless, like these demonic daggers and demon chests and other unholy items. I decided to just get rid of those things because they made no sense to the core of what the game is about. And I also removed the concept of having lives. It was enough to start the level over when start the level over after you died. So another arcade-era design staple bites the dust. And now it is November of 1993. November had to be just about the most insane month in development. What we got done this month was the first high-speed multiplayer game mode created for FPS. The word deathmatch is created along with that mode of play. Co-op mode is created. All final systems are coded, finally, and text files made. Serial code for modems to work is created, and all game maps are modified for deathmatch and co-op play. All right. It's December 9th, 1993. The day before we released Doom, just happened to be a really important day in the United States. Violent video games was a topic hotly debated by the United States Congress. Games like Mortal Kombat and Night Trap are shown as examples of the moral level that games have really sunk down to. They had no idea. The next day, on December 10th, Doom was going to be released. We worked 30 hours straight to get Doom ready for launch, but we found one final bug. When we left the game running on all of our computers, some of them would look like they locked up. The menu could be brought up, but the 3D gameplay would just freeze. John Carmack thought about it for a few minutes, and he figured out the problem, and he fixed it. We did some more tests, the bug was gone, and that bug had been in the game since the day we started making the game. So we could finally upload the game now, back in the day where it went up to a BBS. So we're uploading the game. Yeah, there it is. 28.8, maybe 56. Trying to get it up there to connect it. Oh, it blew up. Yeah, so we uploaded the game, and it just blew up the server, and then we had to try it again. It blew up a second time. Third time, the game finally got up on the server, and it worked, and everybody was very, very excited. Everyone could finally download Doom. Then we also put it on the internet. After Doom was released, the world changed. 3D games were here to stay. Shooters would dominate the industry for decades. It's one of the most popular genre of games today is the FPS. Game modding is incredibly popular with many important game franchises that came out of modding, such as Call of Duty, Team Fortress 2, Portal, Counter-Strike, and many others. Multiplayer is a staple of today's games, and free-to-play is the most popular business model of our times. I'd like to thank those who took the journey with me and made it all possible. It couldn't have happened without these people at that time and the support of the fans of our games. So thank you very much for listening to the Journey of Doom. All right. All right, are we doing Q&A? Not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if we're doing Q&A, are we? If anyone wants to ask questions, you can email me there, john@romero.com. I should change the T to an X. And then there's Instagram.
Cool.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I don't think we have time for Q&A.
All right.
But you'll be around, and you'll be playing later on live on stage as well, right?
That's right. I'm going to be playing Deathmatch. Right after this talk, I'm going over to Building 2.2, and I'm going to be signing books. Just released my autobiography called Doom Guy, and we'll have books and merch there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just one personal question. Why did you spend all that time supporting this half-baked hardware when the Commodore 64 already existed.
I know. It was crazy. The Commodore was a perfect machine.
Yeah, it still is.
It is.
So thank you so much.
All right. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you, John Romero.
All right. Have fun.
So now we got a break until past, and then we're going to talk to the CEO of Stack Overflow with an interesting announcement. So see you there at past.